So just starting in this wide-legged child's pose. So you can widen your knees a little bit more. You can have a block underneath your head if you want, or you can just relax yourself down to your arms. And just taking a few moments just to come away from your evening and start to draw your attention inwards. So in this position, just starting to draw the breath just into the back body, to the sides of your ribs, and to the front of your body. Just breathing in and out through your nose. And as the breath starts to smooth out, just notice your body, just how it feels. Try and allow your hips to relax down towards your heels. Allow the shoulders and the arms to soften. And release the head and the neck. So once more in this yin practice, just trying to allow the body to relax as much as you can. So we'll be holding the postures for about 3 to 5 minutes. It will vary depending on the posture that we take. And try to allow the body to relax into it. So try not to hold on too much and support where necessary. So if you've got anything that you need to use, then do support the body. So rather than any part of your body being kind of suspended in air, try and allow it to be supported. And in that way, the body will relax a little bit more. So yin practice is a passive practice in that we're not using muscles to support us, but rather we're allowing the muscles to relax. To do that, you can use your breath. So try and use the breath to relax in. And try to direct the breath just to where you feel the muscles gripping onto, and try and let go. If you take one more deep inhale here, we're going to start to come up to just a little way. So if you walk back up onto your hands, and then if you take your right arm and just feed it underneath your left arm, and then we're going to lay down the side of the head now towards your mat. Again, if you've got a block, you could grab the block and place that underneath your head if that feels okay. And you can just have your left hand just on the ground in front of your face, or you could start to stretch it overhead a little bit. But again, as soon as the muscles start to contract, then draw it back and try and let it soften. So maybe breathing into the hips. Try and let the head soften down towards the mat. Try and allow the shoulder to relax. And if anything feels like it's gripping, then maybe back it off a little bit. But let the weight of the body just soften down towards the ground. Try and keep your mind present. So in this passive practice, the mind tends to wander off. So try and keep present, keep involved with what you're doing. And as you begin to hold the posture, so again, we hold them postures for between 1 and 5 minutes, so it's quite a long time. Try to soften more into it as the time moves on. So the challenge is to stay in it when it becomes challenging to your body and your mind. And when you're ready, take one more inhale here. And then just very gently start to move up out of it. So maybe draw your left hand a little bit further down and start to press yourself back up. You might want to stretch both hands out in front of you and just drop the forehead towards the ground. So just stretching out the area. So there's a thing called the rebound stretch, and it basically means that it's the effect of you coming out of the stretch. So we want to kind of be aware of that and absorb that as well, not just being in the stretch, but what happens to the body when we come out. Well, change sides when you're ready. So start to walk your left arm underneath the right this time, and maybe turn the head, place the side of the head down. And again, you could use your right hand either just directly in front or maybe stretch it slightly forwards, but just to where it feels right to you. So unlike our Hatha yoga practice, the Yin Yoga practice is not as concerned with stretching the muscle, but more with the connective tissue between the muscle and the bone. And that takes longer to soften. So we're searching for sensation, but we're not searching for pain. So if anything feels near pain, then back it off a little bit. So as you move into your stretch, then you might either soften and be able to go a little bit further, or the body might react differently and you might have to back it off. And both of them are right. Both of them are the right thing to do. And keep using your breath, so deeply in and out through your nose. Sometimes it helps to count, so you could count the breath if you like. Maybe try and extend the breath if you want to as well, so lengthen your inhale and exhale. We'll take one more deep inhale here. Start to move your right hand towards your face and press yourself back up. As you come back up, we're just going to move to an all fours position here. So you can walk your knees underneath your hips, hands under the shoulders. And we'll start just by gently moving the hips side to side a little. I'll do a few cat-cows just to warm up through your spine. So on an inhale, just dropping the belly and pulling the chest forwards. And then on the exhale, just rounding in. So do that again, just work at your own pace here. So just warming up through your spine a little bit. We'll do one more of these. And then when you're ready, just move back into a more neutral position. And from here, if you walk your hands just back towards your knees. Now, for the next one, you can either tuck your toes under. So if you feel you want to stretch your toes out, then you're going to tuck the toes under. And it's, if it becomes uncomfortable, you can untuck them. We're actually going to stretch the hands here. So you can walk your knees in a little bit, up onto your toes or flat feet. And if you bring your right hand, we're going to turn it so it's palm down. I don't know if you can see that, but the thumb is kind of facing away from me. So I've turned it kind of all the way down. So the fingers are facing towards my knees and the thumb is facing to the outside of that thigh. Now, this one, you want to kind of keep the body forward. So the body weight is forward onto the hand. And if you want to increase the stretch into your wrists, then you can sit back a little bit. But if it comes too much, then you're just going to back it off a little bit as well. So again, slightly further forward. So if the weight's even further forward than your hand, it eases off. But if you move into the middle, you'll start to feel it in your wrist. And if you move back with your bottom towards your heels, you'll feel it even more in your wrist. So just where it feels that right sensation. And this, what we're doing here is called finding the edge. So it's not too little and it's not too much, but it's just enough. And in Yin, it's even more important to do that because as we move into it, you're going to be here for a little bit. You'll be thankful you're not doing this one for 5 minutes, but a couple of minutes. And breathe into it. And again, as you sit in it, you might feel that you can move further into it. You might not. Okay, we'll take one more deep inhale. We'll slowly release that. And again, you might want to give your hand a little shake off. And if you're feeling it in your toes too much, you can always flatten out your feet. If you're okay, keep the toes tucked. And then we'll come in to the other side. So again, palm down and the thumb is away from you. So it's at the outer side of your hand. Again, play with it. So you could move forwards or back. And breathe into it. So the breath will help. You could close your eyes as well. Sometimes that helps. But just be aware that when you close your eyes, just notice where your mind goes. Okay, we'll take one more deep inhale. Slowly release that. So again, maybe give your hand a little shake off. And then slowly release your feet down. So you've got your feet flat on the ground. And for the next one, I'm going to stretch out your ankles. So you could grab like a blanket or a block. And the easiest thing to do is just to lift your knees. Just raise them a little bit off the ground. And that then brings the stretch into the front part of your feet and your ankles. If you wanted a little bit more than that, then you can take your hands behind you and you can start to lift the knees up off the ground, and that brings it more into your feet and your ankles. But again, if that feels enough with the knees lifted, then just stay with that. If you want to move back a little bit, then lift the knees up. And again, we'll not stay here for terribly long because it's not that nice a sensation, but it's really good for our feet and our legs to stretch out a little bit. You can always release it, so if you feel it's too much, then release it. And breathe into it. Again, these challenging postures can help to really settle the mind a little bit, because we're having to focus really strongly on what we're doing. Okay, we'll just take one more deep inhale here. And slowly release all the way down. Okay, from here, we're going to bring your legs round so you can get rid of that blanket if you like, or block. Bring your legs in front. You might want to kind of jiggle your legs out a little bit, give them a little shake. We're going to come in for Baddha Konasana now. So when you're ready, we're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Again, please support it. So if you've got blocks or anything that you want to use to do that, then bring it in. Pillows, whatever you need. Bring your feet a little bit closer towards your ground. But again, you don't have to be too kind of strong about it. Just bring it in. Grab hold of your feet if you can and start to move yourself forward. So just releasing through the head and the neck. So you can even lean your arms against your elbows or your arms against your legs. You can use that to support yourself. And lower the head and let the knees drop out to the side. Again, maybe when you come in, close the eyes or lower your gaze. And maybe start to count your breath again. And just notice how your body feels in this position. Notice how it changes as the time moves on. You may be able to move in a little bit further. You might want to back it off if it becomes too much. So let the head and the neck feel heavy. Start to let the legs drop out to the side a little. And always go back to the breath. Taking another deep inhale. And start to make our way back up. So just take your time. Again, just noticing the effects on the stretch on your body as you start to come up. From here, we'll release the legs. We're going to come in for a wide legs forward fold here. So again, use anything you need to support you. If you want to, you can sit up onto a block or a blanket. Again, that can sometimes just help to tilt the hips forwards a little bit. Bending the knees if you need to, so keep the legs bent if that helps you. And then just start to move in. Again, when you move in, you might want to come down onto something. So you might want to come onto a pillow or a block and try and relax there. And keep a softness through your legs and your feet. As you move into these postures, there is a little bit of a temptation to fidget. So, make adjustments when you come in. And if you feel you can go further, or if you've gone too far, then certainly adjust to that. But then try and find some stillness. And support will help there. So support of of blocks or blankets or pillows, whatever you need. So if you're kind of just hanging about, then it's quite hard to be still. But if your body is supported by something, then it's a little easier. Okay, take another deep inhale there. So just stay where you are. And then just when you're ready, start to make your way back up. So take your time as you come out of it. Allow the body to readjust. Move any blocks or cushions and walk your feet in front of you. So maybe give your legs a little shake off. So from here, we're going to come into Janushirasana. So if you keep your right leg bent, we'll bend the left foot in, bring it towards the inner thigh. So you could use a strap here if you want to. You could also use blocks and build it up. And then make sure you're sitting, so you can kind of shuffle your hips back a little bit, so you're moving forward onto your sit bone before you even go forward. So if that's helpful, do that, or sit on a block. And then just start to make your way in. So take your time coming in, take hold of what you can, and then try and soften down into it. And again, even in these yin postures, maybe for the first, even 3 or 4 breaths, try and think about lengthening your spine. So draw the chest forwards, pull the shoulders back, and then maybe relax. So you can round in a little bit more. You can soften down a little bit more. So closing the eyes, watching where the breath goes, and then following that with your mind. Maybe scanning the body, just see if you're still holding on to something, And if you are, try and let that go. And when you're ready, slowly start to make your way back up. So just take your time. Again, when you come up, just take a moment just to see how it feels. And then do release the leg that you've had bent and give it a little shake. So just allowing the circulation to return. So as you're ready, we'll change sides. So we'll keep that left leg straight and bend the right leg in. And it may not feel the same on both sides. So just come into it slowly. So again, you might want to shuffle your hips back. You might want to sit on something and then just start to make your way in. Taking your time as you come into it. And it's okay to ease yourself into it. So you don't have to immediately get into the posture that you're going to sit in. You might take it a little bit of time. Again, maybe adjusting your grip or drawing the shoulders forward and the chest back a little bit. So lengthening through your spine for a few breaths. And then the body might soften a little bit. And it may take more than a few breaths. So, you just have to listen to what your body's telling you and try and adjust yourself to that rather than adjusting your body to what you think it should be doing. Adjust your mind. So keep noticing if you're gripping on or if your body's just gripping on as some of the muscles in your body just keeping a tightness. If it is, then try and use your breath to move into these areas and try and let them relax. Even if that means that you need to back off a little bit or adjust a little bit. So start to let go through the muscles of the hips and the back. Let go through the shoulders and the arms. Try and soften through the legs and the feet. And when you're ready, slowly start to come back up. So again, taking your time, moving slowly. Maybe bring the legs back out in front and give the legs a little shake off. So for the next one, there's an option here for the legs. We're going to bend the right leg. So if it feels okay for your knee, then we're going to bend the right leg so that the heel comes to the outside of your hip. Again, that might not feel that great. So you can always bring your foot flat on the floor. So it's entirely up to you. Your left foot is going to stay, or your left leg is going to stay straight and the left foot flex. If that feels okay for your knee, then you've got two options here. So you can either fold forwards again, so you can just release down, maybe the hands just either side of your leg, and just release the upper body. And again, you can build this up. With this half virasana, which is kind of half hero pose, you can also go back the way. So you might just take your hands behind you and just lean back a little bit. So you can just lean back onto your hands, and that will give you a nice stretch through the front of that bent leg. If you want to, you can also lower down a little bit. So you can lower down, and again, you could use blocks or cushions or blankets here, but you can lower down to your elbows. You might want to try that first. And again, you don't have to. So if it feels not right, then don't. But you could lower down to your elbows. And if that feels okay, then you can lower down to your back. And again, if you get there and it's not somewhere you could reside in, somewhere you could lie in, and it might not happen right away, so you could start on your hands and move to your elbows and then move down. You can even bend your arms just rather than coming all the way to your elbows. And if all of this is too much, it's okay for your knee, lean forwards. Otherwise, put flat on the ground and just fold forwards again. Just what feels right. So wherever you are at this one, we'll start to come back up. So again, if you are on your back, then move up first of all onto your elbows and take a moment on your elbows. And then start to move up onto your hands. If you're leaning forwards, then just slowly make your way back up. And once you're back up and sitting, then release the leg forwards. Maybe give the leg just a little shake out. Again, just see how it feels. So we'll come in once more for the other side. So again, do the same thing. You're best kind of to do the same thing on the other side. So either bending the leg in and fold forwards, or moving the leg behind you, fold forward. So just hands on the ground. You take the hands behind and just lean back into them if that feels okay. Again, if you are planning to come all the way down onto your back, then ease yourself into it. So maybe come onto your hands first, then lower down to your elbows, and at each stage, you've got a little back out. So you can always, back out of it and come out of it. Just depends how it feels. If you feel you can release all the way down, then go all the way down. And keep assessing it while you're down there. So keep thinking, does it still feel okay? And if it does, then try to soften into it. If it doesn't, then move out of it. So sensation, it's okay to feel sensation, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. It's there, but it's not the main thing. The main thing is the breath and the ability to relax in the posture. Again, when you're ready, if you take another deep inhale and start to move out of it slowly. So moving yourself up to the elbows and hold there for a moment. And then start to make your way back up onto your hands. Again, if you are forwards, then just make your way back. And then release both legs out in front. And just give the legs just a little shake off. Okay, from here, we're going to come all the way around. We're going to come onto your belly now. So when you're ready, you can swing your legs round and make your way on into Sphinx position. So we're going to lay down on our front. Bring your hands underneath in front of you. So you want to have your elbows under your shoulders. And do you know, if this is too much, if it feels too much for your back here, you can always release down lower and just have the belly on the ground and the chest lifting. If it feels okay, then move up onto your forearms so that the belly button lifts off the ground. Try and draw the shoulders down your back. Try and relax through your feet and your legs. But try not to kind of collapse your upper body down. So the head and the neck lift slightly. The shoulders draw down your back slightly. So there is a little bit of muscle engagement here. And the belly button lifts a little. Okay, we'll not stay as long in this posture just because it is using quite a lot of muscle. I'll take one more deep inhale. And then you can either stay where you are, or we're going to move up to what's called seal in Yin. So we move up onto the hands. And again, it might feel too much for your back. If it does, you could bend the knees in. Again, if it feels too much there, then just release your elbows back down towards the ground. So again, we'll not stay here for a huge amount of time. Try and draw the shoulders down. So the same kind of feelings as Sphinx with the shoulders down your back. Okay, we'll take one more deep inhale here. Slowly release your legs down if you have them lifted. Release yourself down onto your elbows. And we're going to come in and do that little side Sphinx position. So if you turn your right arm in, so the right arm comes along the mat, and then using your left hand, just gently press yourself over onto your right side. So when you get there, we're aligning the legs, so the legs are stacked on top of one another. Try not to collapse down onto your shoulder, but lift up out of it. So again, using a little bit more muscle here. Try and lift through your side body a little. Now you might stay here, so you could stay down in this position, or you might want to come up a little bit more. And again, we'll not stay terribly long, but press yourself up onto your hands. Again, if it's not good for your shoulder rolls, I would just go down onto your elbow or release yourself all the way down onto your side. So just whatever feels right. But just a nice stretch through the side body. Okay, slowly release that. So coming back onto your belly. So we'll come into Sphinx first of all before we do the other side. And then when you're ready, turn the left arm in. So the left arm is long along the short edge of your mat. Push with your right hand and roll on to that left side. So again, align your legs. You can always bend your legs and that would ease it off your shoulder and your elbow a little bit. If you can, keep the legs straight. Keep the side body lifted. And you can use your top hand, your right hand on the ground as well if you want. And then we'll start to push up again. You don't have to, but if you want to push through your right hand and come up onto that left arm. So again, keep the upper body nice and lifted, the belly drawn in. Okay, from there, slowly release all the way back down. So we'll come back into this Sphinx position. Now from here, we're going to stretch the shoulder a little bit. So Rose, just see how it feels on your shoulder. If you have a block here, it would be quite handy to have a block for your head. If you don't have one, don't worry too much about it. But if you lower yourself all the way down to your front and have your arms kind of like goalpost arms, so you want an L-shaped position on both arms. So what we're going to do is keep your right arm and hand on the ground and then bring your left hand towards your face and start to roll yourself onto that right side. As you do that, bend both knees. So you're bending your knees in a little bit, which will ease it off. Again, if you've got a block, you're going to place the block underneath your head and that will help to ease it off a little bit. If it feels too much, then obviously back it off a little. So just stretching the shoulder on that right side. So a couple of things you could do to make this more intense if you need it. You could straighten your legs. You could also keep your legs bent, but take your left foot behind you. So you take it behind, that makes the pressure, if you like, on that shoulder a little bit more to stretch it more. You can even take your left hand up and over and bend it behind your back. But again, if you come forward onto your chest a little bit more, your front, it eases it off. And if you push back more onto your side, you stretch the shoulder more. So finding that edge where it's just sensation enough so we can lie in it without it overwhelming us. Okay, we'll take one more deep inhale. Slowly start to release that. So just onto your front once more. When you get there, maybe bring both hands just underneath your head. Relax the upper body down. Just see how that feels. So we'll come in and do the other side. So again, bring your arms back to that L-shaped position. And then when you're ready, just turn your head, bring your right hand in and start to press yourself over to your left side. Again, bend your knees as you do that. So you can keep the knees bent, you can stay in this position. You might want to either straighten your legs or take that right foot over to the other side. And then if you want more, lift your right arm up, drop it behind the back. Again, easing off a little bit, we'll move you forward slightly, bend the legs, keep the right hand on the ground. So you are in charge of how much or how little sensation you feel in that shoulder. When you're ready, slowly release, bring yourself onto your front once more. Bring your hands in underneath your head and drop your forehead down towards the ground. Just again, relax there. Okay, from here, we're going to start to move on to your back now. So you can just roll yourself just onto your side and then roll over onto your back. So when you come in, if you bend both knees, so have your feet flat on the floor. And then when you're ready, lift through your right leg. So right knee comes in, right ankle towards that left knee. Maybe start to push back a little bit through your right knee. And then we're going to lift your left foot off the ground. So hands just behind the back of your thigh. Relax the shoulders down. A little bit of flexion in your feet. So just keeping them a little bit active. So again, just scanning the body, noticing any areas of tension. Try and release the grip that you have on your legs so you're not holding on too tightly. Relax your shoulders. Maybe relax your jaw. Relax your eyes. When you're ready, slowly release your legs, but keep your legs crossed over. You can spread your arms here if you like, and then just drop both legs over towards that left side. So again, when you get there, if it's too much, uncross your legs. You can turn your head and look along your right arm. When you're ready, we'll make our way back to the center. So release your feet, maybe even up your hips. And we'll come in for the other side. So left knee lifts, flex your foot and place it on your right thigh. So again, maybe gently press through that left knee, so press it away from you. And then from there, start to lift your right foot off the ground. Take the hands behind the back of your thigh. Again, try not to hold on too tightly, but try and release the shoulders. You relax the forehead this time and the crown of your head. You can relax your feet a little. Okay, when you're ready, slowly release. Again, take the foot down, keep the legs crossed. And then just slowly lower over towards the right side this time. So maybe spreading the arms, looking along the left hand. And if it feels too much with the legs crossed, then uncross them. Taking another deep inhale. And slowly make your way back to the centre of the legs. So uncross them. Maybe move them a little bit side to side here. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the soles of your feet together. Let the knees drop open to the side. You take one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest and start to tune into your breath again. When you're ready, slowly release your hands. We'll place the hands on the legs now and just gently press them back together. So we are going to move into Shavasana now. So if you do want to pop some socks or jumpers on, then grab them. If you're okay, then you can maybe widen your legs and your arms and come in. But do keep yourself warm. So we'll do a little breath meditation when you're ready. So just take your time. So just finding a comfortable position. Maybe closing your eyes. Roll your shoulders slowly forwards and slowly back. Maybe turn your head just from side to side. And then bring it towards the center. Relax your muscles. Start to observe your breathing. Notice how your breath flows in and out. Make no effort to change your breathing in any way, but simply notice how your body breathes. Your body knows how much air it needs. In your mind's eye, see your breath flowing gently in and out of your body. When your attention wanders, as it will, just focus back again on your breathing. Notice any stray thoughts, but don't dwell on them. Simply let the thoughts pass. See how your breath continues to flow deeply, calmly. Notice the stages of a complete breath, from the in-breath to the pause that follows, the exhale, and the pause before taking another breath. See the slight breaks between each breath. Feel the air entering through your nose. Picture the breath flowing through your cavities and your sinuses and then down into your lungs. As thoughts intrude, allow them to pass and return your attention to your breathing. See the air inside your body after you inhale, filling your body gently. Notice how the space inside your lungs becomes smaller after you exhale and the air leaves your body. Feel your chest and stomach gently rise and fall with each breath. Now as you inhale, count silently. 1. As you exhale, count 1. Wait for the next breath and count again. 1. Exhale. 1. Inhale. 1. Continue to count each inhalation and exhalation as 1. Notice how your body feels. See how calm and gentle your breathing is now. How relaxed your body feels. Now it's time to gently reawaken your body and mind. So when you're ready, we'll just start to take a deep inhale through your nose. And this time we'll sigh out your mouth. So we'll do that again. So just breathing deeply through your nose. And then just let it go. And then just start to move. So just your fingers and your toes. Maybe take your arms and stretch them overhead. And then when you're ready and bring your arms back over, we'll start to bend the knees. So you could, if you want, draw your knees in or keep your feet on the floor. But just move side to side a little. Maybe rolling onto your side if you'd like. And then just when you're ready, we'll start to make our way up to sitting. So take your time. Okay, when you're ready, we'll bring the palms together just in front of your heart. So just leaving a little gap just to signify an openness in your heart. So thank you so much for coming along and practicing with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the Yin class. Namaste. Okay, thank you very much, ladies. Well done. Any questions you can ask?